All right, everyone. So I'm going to share with you all of the tools that I believe you need in order to become a florist. Whether you are doing it at a studio like I am, or whether you are going out on the field to do weddings, to do Christmas decorating, all of the tools that you're going to need, I'm going to share with you. And I want to mention that I have two of each because I also have a kit on a toolbox that I take with me when I go on outside jobs. So that way I'm not disturbing my studio or the kit that I have to take to places. So I'm gonna start over on this side. If you are a florist, you know that you need some zip ties. You can find bags like this at Walmart, and then also you can buy bigger bags at Amazon or any place like Home Depot or Lowe's. I like to have black and white. I usually buy bigger bulks because I go through zip ties a lot. And so you want to make sure that you have different sizes and then also different colors. Right now I am eyeing a green color that I saw that is almost like this green because I think it is perfect for Christmas decorating. And then also when you're doing arches and arbors, that way they get lost in all of the greenery. So zip ties is going to be number one. Now here are the wooden stakes that I'm always using. You guys asking where I get them. They're only $12.50 for this big bundle, and they come in a variety of sizes. Medium, here's the large ones. These are essentials when you are extending the shapes of your flowers. And the ones that have the copper wire in it, they are my favorite to work with. As you guys can see, it's a variety of thickness and then also of sizes. They have a great selection here. All right, so item number two that you're going to need is going to be your wooden stakes. These particular stakes come with an attached copper wire to it, and this allows us to extend the length of our florals. If you want a floral to be longer, well, you attach this, you swirl it around, and then that gives you another 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches on the stem, because remember, we can make that stem a little bit longer by adding a wooden stake. This also comes in different sizes. This is about an 8-inch, but there's a 12-inch. And then also I use the little one, which is about a 3-inch. Like I said, they come with this copper wire that's already attached, which makes extending the length of our flowers really easy. There is also a variety of Oasis product, which is our tape, waterproof tape. This is if you are doing some fresh flowers and you have to tape it down to your container. I'm gonna take one of these because I am planning on doing some fresh flowers, so we do need this tape. It comes in the green and also comes in this white and also comes in see-through right here. I think we're gonna have to take both because we will be needing it. All right, so the next thing you're going to need is going to be this selection of wet florist tape, you guys. This also comes in different widths, like you guys can see right here. In colors, I have the white and the green, and then also I like to use the wider width for my big, large arrangements. You want to make sure that they are secure in your containers. We're going to be talking about all of that in this series, but right now I just want to share with you the tools. So then also it comes in clear, because if you're doing a grid on a clear base, or if you're securing a clear base, a loamy dish, then you might want to make sure that you use the clear, so that way you don't have like green on clear or white on clear, and then the clear just makes it disappear. This also you can find at any floral supply store. Shinoda Design Center also sells all of these tools basically. Okay, another product I'm always talking to you guys about is the floral tape. It comes in this roll right here and also in this box if you're buying by the bulk. This is floral tape, is to wrap your wires, whether you're doing corsage work. Comes in this green, also comes in the brown, and so I think we're gonna take let's take a green one and a brown one, and I'm gonna share with you how we use this product. Number three is going to be the this is corsage tape or florist tape. This is what we use to cover our wires with, so that way it doesn't hurt our hands where we're handling. This is so also important when you're doing corsage work. This particular tape right here, it is super affordable. It has a waxy material that when you pull becomes sticky, and it allows us to really wire our, or I'm sorry, to tape our wire, and that way we can really yank on it and pull on it to tighten, and that way it's not going to hurt our fingers. This particular guy right here also comes in different kinds of greenery, and then brown, and I think it also comes in white. I have the dark green, the lighter green, and then the brown. Like I said, this is really perfect for corsage work. And My tip is to keep it on a Ziploc bag so that way it keeps moisture away from it so that waxy material stays intact and perfect for usage. So I'm gonna put that over here with my tapes. All right, so then the next thing I'm gonna talk about is knives. You wanna have a knife like this that is dull to the touch because you can use it to cut all of your florist foam. You will be seeing that later on. So you wanna have a dull knife, like who doesn't have a knife that doesn't work anymore, right? And then also very important to have your florist knife. A lot of people like to work with shears, and we'll talk about that when we're doing fresh flowers, but these are shears, floral shears, and they are really, really useful when you are cutting like thicker stems, but a lot of people take time to cut every single stem with a shear. I don't like that. I do believe that if you just learn to use your florist knife, you're going to be so much quicker and so much more better at your job. Now, the third thing that I'm gonna use with my knives is this little guy right here. This is a knife sharpener. So you just go like this. You can find this at Walmart. It's actually like Chef's Choice from Walmart. And you just go like this, and this sharpens your knives because when you're cutting stems, it really dulls your knife. So it has to be really sharp because remember, all of those flowers need to be pulled on an angle so they absorb more water. So we're gonna be talking about that later on. But a knife and a knife sharpener, it's a must. If you are not a knife person, if you're a beginner, then I do recommend to get yourself a pair of these shears, floral shears. I like this one because it has this little strap right here and it keeps them closed when you're not using them, which is more convenient for you. All right, so now we're gonna talk about wire. So the other thing that I recommend is to get a spool of wire like this. They come in different widths. This is from Hobby Lobby, I believe, Floral Craft. And it comes in this spool right here. I always like to have this because you never know when you're going to have to really secure something and wire. My ex-boss, the gentleman who taught me everything, he used to say that there was not a problem in the world that could not be solved with a 20 gauge wire. It still cracks me up because he would fix all of the problems around the shop with just a wire. So a spool wire in different widths, I really do recommend. All right, so now I'm going to talk about our tape measure. Everybody has to have a tape measure. If you're out on a job, doing a wedding, doing a funeral, doing something outside, decorating a home for Christmas, you want to have a tape because sometimes when you're, especially when you're souping garland, you want to make sure that those soups are even. So having a tape measure is so convenient. So I always like to have a tape measure at my reach. That way I'm not like, where's a tape measure? All right, so now what we're gonna talk about is, okay, so let's talk about the fishing line. Also, they come in different widths and weights. This is a 30-pound and it's 250 yards, you guys. It's like about $8. You can find this at Walmart in the fishing section or sporting section. I like to put a rubber band on mine to keep it tight. This is so convenient when you are doing installations. You know, you can really use this to pull a garland up and it disappears because it's basically see-through to the eye. Also, when you're doing Christmas, you can hang ornaments from it. So I always like to have this fishing line everywhere I go when I'm doing my job. So any florist out there, if you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the section below. If you're thinking of becoming a florist, be sure to tune into this series, Floral Design for Beginners, where I'm gonna be giving you all the tips, all the tricks, and everything that I learned working in the industry for the past 15 years. I really want you to become a master at this craft. And in the process of teaching you guys, I'm also learning a few tips and tricks. So that's why I like to share all this information. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna talk about is this wire right here. Now this wire does come on this length right here. And it's a longer length, as you can see. But what I do is like I cut it in half. This is also a 20 gauge. This is an 18 gauge. And I like to just, especially with this 20 gauge, I like to keep it all secure. So I just like to wrap one to keep them all like this. But what I do is I cut them in half, especially if I'm decorating for Christmas. This is also the wire that we'll be using to do our corsages. We're gonna be learning how to wire every single flower to build a corsage or a wrist corsage, a lapel corsage, and of course a boutonniere if you're doing any wedding work. Also, it is so important to have because there's certain flowers like ranunculus that need a little help to perk up. And so what we do is like we wire the vernacular, we tape it, and that way we can like bend it at the wires well. So getting this wire, 20 gauge wire, is so important. And I always like to keep it right here with my tools in order to have it all well together. All right, so the next thing we're going to need if you're trying to be a florist or a floral designer is a good pair of scissors, you guys. There is nothing worse than a pair of scissors that doesn't work when you're trying to cut ribbon. These are my ribbon scissors. I've had them for about 7 years and it's still going strong. This particular brand is from Walmart, and I'll show you. I've just bought me some other pairs because I absolutely love them. So I really do recommend. This is perfect for corsage work. Never, ever, ever cut any material other than ribbon with it. You might be able to cut paper, but never like cardboard or even flowers with them, because you are going to dull out our flowers or our scissors. So be sure to always use these scissors just for this particular purpose. The other thing is a pair of wire cutters, you guys. A good pair of spring-loaded. These are spring-loaded, as you can see, are so efficient because every time that you use them, you don't have to pull with your fingers to prep them open again. So you might want to have a good pair of spring-loaded wire cutters, and these are Stanley brand. I bought this at Home Depot. I haven't seen them in a while, but also I have this secure method right here to keep them closed, and then you just release that method and you just have a spring-loaded pair of wire cutters. These cut like butter. I can never tell you enough how much I love these wire cutters. All right, and then also I like to keep them in like a little container like this, just to have them all together, especially if I'm working on Christmas, because you know. All right, so now we're gonna talk about our glue. Here also you can find your hot glue pan. You guys they have a hot glue pan for $55.95, and also the Oasis pellets if you are more a pan person versus a glue gun. But they also carry the glue sticks and then the shirt binder, which is one of my favorite brands. I need to invest in a new hot glue gun. And then here's all of the sticks, and here's a small one. This is a high temperature one, and so they have all kinds of variety of adhesives if you are starting your own floral business. You guys really get one of these. So I use two methods of glue. One of them is going to be our glue pan, and it comes like this. This is actually just an electric skillet that comes like that with a little lid, and you plug it in. And then the glue pellets come on these little bags right here. These are Oasis brand, and they come on these tiny little pillows. So you plug in your glue, you let it melt, and then as you need it to dip stems, whether you're making wreaths or you're making garlands, or if you're just doing some gluing for Christmas or for wedding work, you can use the pellet glue. It is so efficient. It is way faster. However, a lot of us are used to using our glue gun. So every florist out there, any crafter for that matter, needs to have a really good glue gun because this is a high heat. So because, well, we're crafters, we're florists, we are designers. We need to have our tools at the ready, you guys. And then also you have to have some glue sticks. These glue sticks, you can find that any place where crafting materials are sold, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Amazon, you name it, they have it. I buy them by the box because, as you guys know, I make a lot of wreaths, and so I like to just have them at hand. All right, so then the last thing, any florist out there or somebody who's trying to aspire to become a florist needs is to invest on a pick machine. This is a steel pick machine, and you need this to make wreaths, to attach the picks to flowers, if you're putting it into styrofoam, for centerpieces, for arrangements. If you're making it permanent, and I'm gonna be talking about that in a future video, if you're making it permanent, you better make it to where the customer is going to be happy with it, because you know that the best advertising out there is word of mouth. So when you make something for a customer to keep, you want to make sure that it's very well made. And in order to do that, well, you have to have your steel pick machine. And what this does is basically, I'm going to use a little wire because I don't have a stem right here. So let's pretend like this a stem. And so you put a steel pick on it, as you guys can see. And this, it has like really sharp teeth that poke into the foam, we'll talk about that when I talk to you guys about all types of foams. And then that way it secures it. Some people might want to dip it into the glue and then put it into the foam, and that there is no way you're getting that stinker out if you do that. So that is an investment. These are kind of pricey, but anyone that is aspiring to become a florist or a designer, a wreath maker, a floral designer, then he really needs it. And then if you're gonna invest in your pick machine, and I say invest because it is a little pricey, but like I said, if you're really being serious about this, I want you to get one. The other thing is you have to get your steel picks, and they come in this little box right here. They come like this, and they come, I'm gonna try and get a pack out. They come on these little packs right here. And so you lift up your little nozzle right here. It's like a little weight. Then you drop these guys right here, just like that. So I'm doing it backwards. Like this. Then you put that weight again, and now you have your steel picks on your steel pick machine, and that way you reload it. And so these are very affordable. Actually, you can find this in Amazon.com or also Shinoda Design Center. They're steel flex pick machines. These are 1/3 of an inch. They are super. Like I said, if you are really being serious about becoming a florist, then I really do recommend to invest in all of these items, because it will make your job so much easy. And there is no better feeling than knowing that you have all of your tools at the ready like this, and that you can really get a well job done.